We're here with Dr. Nerissa Hall, who is an AAC expert and the beautiful brain power behind our new resource, which is the communication matrix. Welcome, Nerissa.
Thank you.
Nerissa, I know you think and talk a lot about different reports and AAC evaluations, but can you tell us why is the communication matrix a really great one that clinicians should be able to use and know how to write out?
Well, thanks for asking. Part of what I love about the matrix is its ability to show progress and movement over time for individuals with really complex needs. And it spans a range of communicative functions and different almost levels of communication, and can also be used for individuals who are pre-symbolic. A lot of our assessments are rating scales or are not quite as detailed for individuals that aren't yet maybe using more conventional communication methods.
Yeah. And I can see how, right, the communication matrix is perfect for that.
Yeah.
How about though when clinicians need to write up the results? Like you put a lot of time and effort and expertise into this template that you developed for us. So what makes like your template so unique, so powerful, and so effective for clinicians?
So, well, I won't take full credit because I will thank you for helping with the collaborative process and developing the template. I think what is really important when thinking about writing reports in particular is that these documents, well, first of all, from a professional standpoint, oftentimes people meet your report before they meet you.
Yeah.
And so, just in terms of your own clinical presence and expertise and style. And then another thing is when it comes to thinking about the individual, these reports really serve as a form of advocacy, a form of detailing, a plan of care. When we're thinking about AAC in particular, we think about almost in 5-year life cycles, that we are talking about systems and strategies that are designed to evolve and grow with individuals over time. And what I love about the matrix, although easy to administer, the outcomes lend themselves to some pretty descriptive clinical writing. So for a little bit of thought and intake and interview and observation, you can get some information that can be really descriptive and informative about what an individual can do right now, what we think they can do in the future, and then how to inform the intervention process in really digestible ways. So I think it's a great tool that is really descriptive and informative.
So, right. And I love how you said it's really like a 5-year kind of viewpoint that we're having. And so you could administer the matrix then several times. And
Yes.
so what can clinicians do with that information if you're looking at, or how does that help shape that plan of care if you're looking at the outcomes from the communication matrix over many, many years?
Great. I'm glad that you asked that, because there are a few things about the matrix in particular that I find to be particularly informative. Um, they describe levels of communication. And so an individual, and that whether or not an individual has surpassed that stage or level, whether or not they've mastered certain skills or whether or not these skills are emerging. And so it's really helpful in terms of kind of describing where they are, from pre-intentional communicative behaviors to unconventional communication, and describing why it's unconventional, to more conventional communication behaviors, all the way up onto abstract symbol use and language. And so that's a 7-point rating scale per se, which is a really fine way of kind of describing complex communication needs. And fine, and I say kind of nuanced and refined, is what I mean by that. And then because it asks for different functions of communication or purposes within each of those levels, you can then get an understanding of what those behaviors are being used to communicate. So whether or not they are to refuse or obtain, to share information, or for more social pragmatic purposes. And what I like about that is so often, especially with AAC, we tend to start and stay in that obtaining phase, in the sense of where I want phrases, or making requests, or, choosing the song to be played, or asking for food to be eaten. And what the matrix does is really emphasizes that there's more to communication than that function. And it allows us to measure how, not only how an individual advances with respect to their levels of communication, but how they can also advance with respect to their purposes. And so it really is a matrix that is very descriptive. And what I love to your question about the over time is that we might get information of, oh, this individual is really heavily, using communicative behaviors to obtain, but there's nothing yet really for social purposes or to share information. And then that helps inform our intervention that we should really emphasize this. And then we get to see that change. And it might be that they use unconventional communicative methods for that, and we want to advance that to be a little bit more conventional, and we'll see that balance. I almost envision kind of adjusting the dials of music, and that you can see something go up, and then this one goes up, and that one might be there, and you can see these levels adjust as we support an individual in their overall ability to communicate for a variety of functions.
Whenever you're using any new resource on easyReportPRO, it's always a really good idea to go in, check it out, see how data is entered, and what type of template is generated. So I'm going to do that real quick with an already filled out communication matrix. First, let me just show you the finished product. This is what the communication matrix template looks like when it's generated on our platform. Now let me show you how we got there. So when I go in to add and edit scores, you can see that there's a lot of information to add. We have a couple things here that is really cool. First, we have a pre-filled option for you to pre-fill in the number of skills. So when you click here, this pre-fill, those number of skills will be automatically filled out. Then, of course, you have to go through and fill out the exact information that you got from your client or your student with the skills not used, emerging skills, and mastered skills. The other thing that's important to note is this description key. Here, we're using numbers to indicate the description of the levels or the reason for communication. And that key is also right here in the directions. So you can just put in a number and it will automatically generate this particular term for that either level or reason for communication. The other thing that we did for this particular resource is we used checklists. So clinicians can describe only the bits of information that they want to. So whatever levels you would like to describe and you would like shown in your report, those are the levels that you'll check off. So once you've done all of that, you then, of course, click Update, and you can click View, and then you can have your template that you copy and paste into your favorite word processing system. Nerissa, how can people get in touch with you if they want to reach out, if they have questions? Like, how can people connect with you?
Well, you can find me by email. So I have email through work. You can absolutely reach out via email. We also have our website, and so there is website, and then on some social media, there's also some fun information about camp, and we share some of our resources. So we are trying to build up our presence of resources for our AAC community, and that is not just for individuals and families, but also for maybe graduate students or paraprofessionals or teachers or speech pathologists or anyone really looking to join and support AAC and AAC expansion and implementation and just overall awareness and love for a really powerful, awesome tool and approach.
That is fantastic. So I will put your email in the notes for this video, but what is your website?
So I am part of Communicare, or Communicare, that's the fancy way, but we go by Communicare. So that's Communicare. You can search for it, Communicare LLC or aaccommunicare.com. And we've merged with Tate Behavioral. So you can also find us on Tate Behavioral. So either Tate or Communicare, you'll get to us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for your expertise and your guidance in this whole process. It's been amazing.
And thank you. It's been an honor to be able to, and a privilege to have a resource where you can put your own work up on a template-based system, and it helps with efficiency and also maintain personal high quality. So thank you.